the great epic of Mahabharata, there is no character as tall, towering, overshadowing, and magnanimous as the great warrior and statesman of Hastinapur, Bheeshma. His whole life is like that of a chess game from birth to death, and his role akin to the queen or minister on the chessboard, the most powerful piece that can make or break any game. If you have read this great epic, you will notice that Bheeshma witnessed the rise and fall of 7 generations throughout his life, right from Nala, Bheeshma's grandfather, through Abhimanyu, Bheeshma's great-great-grandson. He diligently and steadfastly observed 3 vows his entire life. Vow of lifelong celibacy, brahmacharya, at speech level, declared openly. Vow to protect Hastinapur, Rashtradharma. At action level, scrutinized by all. Vow to remain righteous in action, paramadharma. At thought level, clear conscience. Gain command through sacrifice. Bheeshma's life trajectory is decided the moment he takes the vow of lifelong celibacy for the sake of his father, Shantanu's happiness, and gives up his birthright to satisfy Satyavati's, Shantanu's second wife, desire that her children must have access to the throne. As a result of this, he receives the boon of Icha Mrityu, control over the time of death, from his father. He then assumes command of Hastinapura after his father's death, as Chitrangad was a child then. Later on, after Chitrangad's demise, he manages the political affairs once again since he was issueless. By the mere act of taking this terrible oath, he immediately gains wide recognition and is revered by all. Irrespective of which side he fought with in the final war, he is respected throughout and is the most trustworthy individual amongst all other characters. Commanding this kind of respect and trust so early in life is something that any leader can strive for, but is often elusive. This is possible only through the sacrifice of personal interest over the welfare of others. Seize control through resolve. Bheeshma's life takes another turn when he wins a battle at Kashi Kingdom and brings Amba, Ambika, and Ambalika as brides for Vichitravirya, Satyavati's second son. Amba is offended as she gets rejected by both Vichitravirya and her lover, King Shalva. Amba ensures a fight between Bheeshma and his guru Parashurama, which ends in a stalemate. Later on, she receives the boon from Shiva to be reborn as Shakuni, a transgender, in order to exact her revenge on Bheeshma. Throughout these events, Bheeshma remains the de facto guardian of Hastinapura. Further, he refuses to take over the throne after the premature demise of Vichitravirya, who had no heir. He arranges for the impregnation of Ambika, Ambalika, and a maid through sage Vyasa, so that the royal lineage is maintained. He is forever the caretaker of Hastinapura before, during, and even after every transition. It remains so before the ascension of Pandu and then Dhritarashtra. It can be observed that in addition to his first vow, he also maintains his second vow, and inadvertently or unwillingly seizes control of all royal and political affairs throughout his lifetime. He literally nurtures Hastinapura even without ascending to the throne, and remains a faithful caretaker all his life. It is the effect of his vows that power falls in his lap, just like a ripe mango drops to the ground. Take charge through wisdom. Even during the 18-day war at Kurukshetra, he was the supreme commander in charge of the Kuru army for 10 days. He was formidable and literally undefeatable. It must be noted that Lord Krishna had vowed that he will not wield a weapon and fight in the war. Bheeshma compelled Krishna to almost break his vow by injuring both Arjuna and Krishna severely on the battlefield, where Krishna alights from the chariot and lifts a wheel to hurl it at Bheeshma. Further, when it becomes clear that it is impossible for the Pandavas to win with Bheeshma leading the Kuru army, Bheeshma himself provides a hint by saying that, "I will lay down my life if someone of the opposite gender is fielded against me." Taking this cue, Krishna suggests that Shikandi be fielded against Bheeshma with Arjuna as the charioteer. Thus, true to his word, Bheeshma avoids fighting Shikandi and indirectly provides an opportunity for Arjuna to shoot him with arrows. This sounds simple to read, but is very profound in its meaning. Here, he exemplifies righteousness by fulfilling all these three vows simultaneously. If one is committed to one's cause, then one must be willing to play a spoilsport, even if it means bringing death upon oneself. Conclusion. If one can observe carefully the trajectory of Bheeshma's life, in spite of his three vows, in spite of the burden of respect and trust thrusted upon him, and in spite of the huge responsibilities shouldered upon him, he emerges as the epitome of karma or duty. Bheeshma himself describes dharma as being supple when a humiliated Draupadi questions the right of Yudhishthira to gamble and lose her in the court of Dhritarashtra. It is Bheeshma who ensures that Satyavati is married to Shantanu. It is Bheeshma who protects Satyavati from Ugrayuddha Paurava, who lusts after her following the death of Shantanu. It is Bheeshma who frees Amba to do her penance for revenge. It is Bheeshma who ensures the birth of Vidura, the treasurer of Hastinapura, and the only warrior who doesn't enter the war. It is Bheeshma who knowingly or unknowingly ensures that Shakuni remains at Hastinapura to exact revenge. It is Bheeshma who calls upon Dronacharya to train the royal princes, both Kauravas and Pandavas, in warfare. The fact remains that Bheeshma drives the kingdom of Hastinapura right from his entry till exit. An observant mind will notice that Bheeshma is in total control throughout and plays out his role like a chess game, where every move is carefully crafted, keeping the future in view with a righteous intent.